Neighbors, you are listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. My name is Melissa Wallace, and I am joined live in studio by the one and only Kristen Howlett,
who's having some technical difficulties.
Yeah, your microphone's pretty much on the ground, so you might have to sit there. We could switch it if it's not working. But you know what? As I was saying your name, you pointed out the other day that I say your name wrong.
Oh, you say it right.
Do I say it right and everybody else says it wrong?
Yeah, or you say it the proper way.
Wow, those are some readers.
Okay.
Before we went live, Kristen said to me, "Oh, wait until you see my new readers, reading glasses." Yeah. And she just put them on, and I said, "Wow,
well, I can read at least."
They look good, though. I love the tortoise, of course, because I have glasses. So, if you are watching us live on Facebook, hello, we're live on Sharon's Facebook right now, and I'm going to give Kristen a second to sort of do her thing so I can get us all on all the Connect pages, but. We are live, and Kristen, you are here live in studio.
Live in studio.
Sharon's here somewhere. She's actually on the phone dealing with a closing, so she's working hard. Mary's hard working upstairs too, so it might just be the two of us.
It's all right.
That's all right.
We can do it.
So do I say your name right, or do I say it wrong?
Kristen Howlett.
Howlett. Yeah.
We say Kristen Howlett.
Howlett. Who says that? Oh, your family?
Yeah.
Well, wouldn't that be
like
right?
Howlett.
Okay.
I think it just got lazy over time.
So I don't say it right. I just say it the way that you want people to say it.
I think I need to stand up.
Okay. Yeah. If you're watching us on Facebook, you can see that she is really struggling. But Kristen, you have joined us several times. You're practically our, third or fourth co-host now. But why don't you give all of our listeners who don't know anything about you some information, your name, how you really say it, where you service, how long you've been in the business, anything else you sort of want to talk to them about.
So first off, I have to apologize because my voice is not the normal, wonderful voice that you hear. I have a little cough, and it's driving me crazy.
It's okay. I feel like we're in that season, it's just going to happen.
I just sucked down a spoonful of honey, so hopefully it'll soothe my throat.
Nice.
So, Kristen Howlett, I am a full-time real estate agent at Boston Connect Real Estate. Been here since... I think the end of 2018, I'm not sure, I always forget. I service the South Shore and beyond. I love what I do. I love where we are. I want to talk about our big Santa workshop, fun open house pictures with Santa that we just had, which is awesome.
So we've been promoting it for a while, and I just posted on social media about it, but we are going to get our professional photos back this week. But why don't you tell our listeners about our Saturday?
So last year we started to, we are definitely doing more community events at Boston Connect. And last year, a few of us came up with an idea to do a holiday open house. And we did it. We pulled it off. We were a little bit late last year, but we pulled it off. We had a great meeting afterwards.
Yeah. We weren't late. We just didn't, we gave ourselves like 2 weeks to plan this whole thing.
Which is late.
And we pulled it off, but yeah.
We pulled it off, and it was actually awesome, except, there were things that we thought we could have done better, and we did do it better.
We did. We did do it
awesome.
Better. We were a little panicked beforehand. We had over 300 people register for our event. So last year was the first year that we did it, and we probably had 100 people come through, which we were so happy about. Considering that we only had 2 weeks to sort of promote this. So it's to tell all of our clients, to all of our agents to tell their clients, our families personally. So we had a Santa last year, or Santa from the North Pole came down, and we had a professional photographer, and we just, sort of had free pictures with Santa. And this year we wanted to make it bigger and better, and we had over 300 people register. I think we had over 200 and something people actually show up, which was amazing, and it just went so smoothly.
It was super organized.
Yeah, it was very
so
organized.
Festive, but super organized.
Yeah, I didn't hear one kid cry either.
No.
Some people brought their dogs, which was
I brought my
amazing.
dog.
You did. Honey was there. And we just had a great time, and we were sort of debriefing afterwards and since then, and we've just been saying, like, everyone was in such a great mood, and we had such amazing sponsors, and we just had a great day. Santa was amazing. Everybody
was amazing.
loved him. And we decorated Mark's truck. So Mark has Millie. He parked out front, and it's a 1936 Ford pickup truck, blue. We call it Boston Connect Blue, but truck's name is Millie. And we just had such an amazing day. And we just couldn't have asked.
The weather was perfect.
Weather. Yeah, perfect weather. I had to make a new album on my phone. It was like over 300 photos that I took all day. Like, I just bopped around. Everyone's like, oh, I'll be on this station. I'm like, I'm not committing to any station. I want to be everywhere.
Yeah.
And it just was an amazing day.
Awesome day.
And your whole family came. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I make them because it's a great opportunity to get a picture. When do you have that opportunity?
Yeah.
To have a great backdrop. My kids are getting older, but awesome. Some of the babies, I can't even wait to see the pictures.
I know.
Some of the babies in the magical little,
Yeah.
staring up at Santa.
Yeah, I know.
So cute.
Yeah, so Santa came from the North Pole, and Tracy Marino, who is, I believe she lives in Pembroke resident, she donated her time to take professional photos.
As she did last year, too.
As she did last year. So we are forever grateful for her, and, we're going to be getting those photos back this week, and so we can send those to everybody, and it's just amazing. I mean, everybody already is like, when can I get them? I want to do my Christmas cards or my holiday cards or anything. Like, it's just the excitement that we saw in other people made us 10 times more excited.
100%.
Yeah, I know, I'm right. I'm in a giddy mood because we might have a Mai Tai after.
Oh, we're 100%.
We're 100% having a Mai Tai.
That was my enticing enticement.
Anyways, so anything else to say about that? Anything you want to? Because I gotta get us situated on Facebook.
Go ahead, go.
Well, I need you to talk for a second.
I will.
So
I will. So, all right. Do you want me to start with our topic of the night?
Yeah, just tell everybody what our topic is.
Our topic this evening is. Hold on, I might have a coughing fit.
Do you have your readers on?
the 5D reasons for selling a home.
Okay.
What are the 5Ds?
Okay.
You get on Facebook.
Okay, I'm getting on Facebook.
What are the 5Ds? Does anyone know?
Yeah.
You guys can, and also you can.
We'll go 1D by the next, okay? And if anybody can guess what the next one we're going to be talking about, we'll give a $25 gift card to, I don't know, Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks
but you
or
gotta
whatever.
comment.
You have to either comment on our live or call into the studio at 781-837-4900, okay? So we'll give away the first one so we can start the conversation, and then we'll continue on.
The first
Hopefully
one is
somebody
pretty
calls.
heavy.
Yeah, the first one's the worst.
I feel like the Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
The first one is D for death.
Oh no.
And you know what? Okay, all kidding aside, it is a sensitive subject, and it's hard to talk about, but you know what? It happens.
Yeah.
And it happens all the time.
Well, yeah.
And I don't know how else to say it. I'm at a point right now in my life where my friends' parents, not my mom because she's cute and adorable and young, but I have a lot of friends' parents who are all of a sudden getting older. And I don't know if it's, kind of residual from COVID or things are happening, but all of a sudden I feel like everywhere around me, people are dealing with older parents who need to be taken care of.
Yeah.
And some, are some things happen. And, how do you prepare for that?
Yeah. I think that no matter how much you prepare for death, like, you don't feel prepared when it happens. So, obviously it's somebody else's death.
Right.
But, we talked about, I think maybe 2 weeks ago. I think so. Yeah. Sharon, Mary and I, we did a show about, selling your parents' home. And part of that process could be because they passed away.
Right.
So there's aging in place, which we talked about there, and how to, change things around your home so you can age in place. But the other side of it is, death. So your parents have passed away, or somebody in your family, or someone that maybe left their house to you, or doesn't have any beneficiaries, and you sort of had to take over for whatever reason that may be. Death is such I don't want to say like it's a prominent thing, but I'm just thinking about, Sharon is not on the show right now. She's dealing with a closing and it's the children selling their parents' home because they have both passed. So it's very relevant in what, is going on in Sharon's business right now. And Sharon said actually on that show that this year she has helped, a lot of clients and past clients sell their parents' home because of death. So unfortunately, we started with a heavy one, but it is sensitive, but we keep it real here. So, and if you want to listen to that past show, you can go to talkrealestateroundtable.com, or you can go to, your podcast app and Google us, but whatever.
And unfortunately it's inevitable.
It is.
So I do think even from what we've been seeing with friends and, acquaintances that are dealing with this, the one thing that you can do, you can be prepared. You can kind of have those discussions, or, put things in place so that when and if that time comes, it's not even if, it's, and you can be prepared as far as if you're an heir, or, make sure that things are in place as far as, I know a lot of people do living trusts.
Yeah.
Or, the beneficiaries, and, where are the certain paperwork, where are things, ask questions. Sometimes it can feel like it's intrusive, but really it's going to help in the long run.
It is. I mean, as difficult as it is to sell your home in general, it's pretty difficult to think about, like, okay, well, what's going to happen once I pass away, and what I have to deal with the assets and all these things. So, appointing somebody sort of in charge of that after your passing is very helpful and beneficial to everybody involved. Somebody I know is dealing with a death in their family, and sometimes death brings out the worst in people, and that's very unfortunate. And I even said that a couple of weeks ago when we did that show. I feel like we talked a lot about death on that show, and it can bring out the worst in people. So, and I said last week on our show, like, our job is to sort of take on that, take on the emotions of selling the house, so you don't have to deal with that. Like, don't get upset, after home inspection. Don't get upset, during the final walkthrough or day of closing, whatever. Like, that's our responsibility. There's no need to, get upset about certain things. We'll show face, and then we'll go take care of the problem or whatever issue arises. But yeah, we started with death. And sometimes, the reason to sell the house after death is because, whoever it is who is taking care of that property can't take care of that property financially. The house may be not abandoned, but like nobody's living in it. And it might just be because, everybody is grown and they have their own homes and they have their own families, and they just have to sort of deal with this property. Maybe it's not paid off, and, you have to maintain that until, you decide to sell it. And some people can't afford to do that, because death, if it's sudden, you've now are taking on this financial responsibility that you might not think that you had this short amount of time to take that on. Right. So yeah, it's not, it could be not a quick and easy process too. So depending on how the property was left, before the death.
And we've been seeing a lot too, where, like your husband or your wife maybe passes away, and then you're left and you don't really want to be alone in the house. Maybe you go live with your children, and, it's figuring out how to downsize, go through things, and, figure out that maybe this isn't the best situation. Maybe I need to go and live with somebody else because it could be lonely.
Yeah, it could be. Mm-hmm. It could be. All right.
Let's get off this. 'Cause
Okay,
it's kinda
yeah.
depressing.
So we're gonna move on to our second one, but we still want people to guess. So if you're too shy to call into the studio at 781-837-4900, you can comment on Facebook. We're watching, so hopefully you're watching, and you can sort of jump in.
Anyone want to come up with the second D?
The next one. This one isn't nice either. I don't think these are gonna be really
I
great.
feel like there's a song for this. Divorce. I think there's a song for it.
Maybe, but you gave
a Dolly Parton song?
Yeah, but probably we could. Yeah, if there is one, maybe we can have the studio play it. But you spelled it for everybody, so why don't you tell everybody what the next one is? Divorce. Oh, so I saw the musical Six. Do you know what that's about?
No.
It's about the 6 wives of King Henry VIII.
Oh.
And one of them is he got divorced. I think it was the first wife, right? The first wife he divorced. And Catherine? I think Catherine. And they sing a song, and like they sing the song about how they either divorced him or died, and they said divorced. So that made me think of that.
Oh, that's so funny.
Anyways, that's my story. So divorce is the next one. And I think that I've never been married, so I could never have been divorced. You are happily married. You're not getting divorced. So we don't know from personal experience, but we've certainly had clients.
Well, what about Tom and Giselle?
Oh, yeah. Well, someone's going to sell their homes, unless they're just amicably like walking.
I think they're selling their home. She already bought another home.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So.
Oh.
Yeah. So
well,
even.
Wait, I think they're already
It's done.
divorced. Yeah. It was like,
And I
oh, by
think
the
it
way,
was-
we're divorced.
Yeah, they've already taken care of all that stuff.
Well, good for them.
Very amicable.
However, it doesn't always work out that way. So good for them, I suppose. But so cooperation from both sides in selling the home is definitely something that needs to happen. And I said this last week, you'll definitely know how a transaction is going to go within like the first meeting of clients, or right after closing, or right after getting an accepted offer. It sets the tone. So it's always interesting to hear, sellers are going through a divorce, because it could be tough. If one of them doesn't want to sell, or one of them doesn't want to get divorced, it projects into the
I have a situation right now where I'm helping a seller. Mm-hmm. I'm not listing their house, and I'm actually pretty thankful that I'm not listing their house, because I think it would be
yeah, aren't you helping them buy?
I'm helping her buy. They need to sell in order to buy, but they're both living in the house separately, and it's uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. We have Sharon McNamara.
Hi, how are you?
Good. I don't think your microphone's on, but
Yeah, look at me. What's going on here?
Yeah. Her
floppy.
microphone's on the floor, and yours isn't
I
on.
don't know what's happening over there.
I don't know. I keep trying to
Yeah, I think someone broke it last week.
Oh.
Yeah, so you guys are doing a good job. Sorry about that. I was actually just on the phone with a client, and it's actually an estate sale. So there was a death in the family, and we're just sort of going around with a couple things. So that's what I was doing, and I know that's the topic.
Yeah, I just said that. I said that, you were, the first one is death. We went through death, but I said that, you were on the phone dealing with a situation. Oh, well, dealing with a situation here, too. You're Mrs. Fix-It today. So we're talking about divorce and how sort of that can set the tone for selling a house. Correct? No, you guys are dealing with
I've never had, aside from my client right now, I've never had a divorce situation. Have you had? I'm sure you have.
Yes,
but
I've
let's
had
talk
several.
about positive ones. Have you had any positive divorce?
No.
No.
No, there have been. There are certainly times where, there have been times when I've actually gone to homes and I know before the children and the family know what's going to be going on. So I generally think that if it isn't a surprise to the other person that, hey, you just come home one day and it's like, knock, knock, I want a divorce. If it's more, been
knock,
discussions.
Knock, I want a divorce.
Yeah.
Do you have to knock on your own door?
Yeah. In those situations, you should, and probably run. But I have had so many situations where, one of the spouses is actually surprised that the other one wants the divorce, and they weren't clued in on any capacity that this was coming. Those ones tend to be a little more difficult because it's also the process of sort of, the grieving process of what just happened. Like, I thought we were happily married, and now, you're telling me that you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend or another life, that you don't want this one. So those ones tend to be more difficult. And then they get difficult, just the transaction itself sometimes, because then it becomes very resentful. So those ones where you have a difficult time, if, usually the wife is staying in the house if there are kids or whatever, and it's like trying to set up showings, and you can't do that because she's really mad. Like, there's just many different.
You're reminding me that I did have one where we brought the buyer, and it was a divorce situation, and he was not happy. And then the new buyers ended up finding, I know we shouldn't talk about this.
Yeah.
Like a letter. And it was pretty much like, you're going to take the blue cup, I'm going to take the yellow cup. Oh. You're going to take, it was, everything was written out, and it was really sad.
It is. It's really sad, no matter what we do. And I mean, these Ds that we're discussing, I mean, they definitely are unfortunate circumstances, but it is the reality of why people sometimes are choosing that they have to sell. And sometimes it's, you can come up with alternatives for people. A lot of times in divorce situations, one of my first questions is can either of you afford to buy the other one out, so you're not losing your family home and what you both worked so hard for? That's always my first question with that one. With the death one, does anybody in the family have interest in purchasing the house?
Yeah.
So it isn't just about, oh, we have a new listing and we can't wait to get it on the market. It's let's try to figure out the best process and financial steps for people to take when they are in these situations.
And what's interesting about this whole topic is everybody watches the news, and they know everybody's talking about the real estate market, and everything's going to happen. But we've been talking a lot in-house here about there are still going to be people who need to sell.
100%.
There will always be someone who needs to sell.
Yeah.
And
two, I just want to put out there for everybody who's giving other people advice about the real estate market, and you don't know anything about it other than what you get a glimpse of one article on Google, and you suddenly become an expert. Because I was actually on the phone today with one of our clients and discussing, the situation with him, and, just about the whole process. And he's starting to sort of get a little nervous about things. And his comment was, well, people in work are saying that it's not a good time to buy. Well, what?
Yeah.
Who are these people?
Keep it shut.
Yeah, keep it.
Give me a high five for them, because that's so true. Like,
right? Keep your mouth quiet if you don't know, because you can't read one article and put it in context to here. Like, keep it hyper local, but you could be looking at national statistics. A lot of times that's what that information is. It's all nationally based.
You just read my mind, because I follow a guy from Florida who now his new thing is he's on Instagram, and he takes any of these, the world's, Chicken Little things on Facebook or whatever they are, or even in the news, and he kind of goes through them and says, there's no information in this post to give you, it's just
it's just
headline.
And that's what it is. It's all glory chasing type articles, and don't listen to everything. If you really want to know what is happening in your local market, you need to talk to somebody in your local market. Period. Amen. Back to the divorce thing.
I was just going to say, and just like that, we went right.
Yep. And we can figure out a way to do that every time. But with the divorce, I think that there are a lot of times, like I said, if it's something where people have, hey, let's go to counseling, like they've gone through all of those steps previously, and they sort of ultimately know that this is going to be the end result, then chances are it will be a lot easier. But a lot of times in the divorce situation too, they'll say, well, we have to get 3 different analyses from 3 different three different agents, and then we both have to agree on one. Sometimes it's court appointed. Sometimes the divorce is so bad that neither one of them are allowed to make a decision, and it's court appointed.
Yeah.
And I know I have been in situations where there were restraining orders against one of the spouses, and I couldn't even text them at the same time because it was considered being too close. So I would have to text them both individually. So it's really about...
You just made me think of something too. If somebody were to get a divorce and possibly buy out their spouse, there's other things that maybe they don't think of that we could definitely. So if you have a trusted real estate person that you want to even just run things by, because the first thing I'm thinking is like, what if you got this opinion of value and then all of a sudden the septic went? And then you had so things like that, like you should have a home inspection.
Well, also like think about like who's on the deed, who's on the mortgage, what ownership do you hold in in the property. So those are things to consider as well.
Yeah. So don't ever get roped into doing something you don't want to do without protecting yourself too.
And too, I mean, they say love is blind, and I just say, people are doing a lot of dumb. I almost said
That's a show.
Yeah.
Blind.
Oh, is it? Yeah. But people are doing, people don't think, and I'll be honest, I didn't go into my marriage thinking I have to figure out exactly.
Yeah.
It worked
What's
out
going to happen when we get divorced?
Yeah, what happens when we get divorced. And I remember when we bought one of our first boats that had a loan on it, and it's in Mark's name. And somebody said to me that she was going through a divorce, actually, and she's like, oh, Mark's going down to sign on the boat. It was like down in Connecticut or something. And I was like, yeah. She goes, well, aren't you on the loan for the boat? And I was like, no. She's like, well, what if you ever get divorced? I was like, well, first of all, we're not buying a boat together thinking that way.
Yeah.
And I said, and now he'll have someplace to live. It works so perfectly.
He'll have some place to live in the middle of the ocean.
So he can have that, and I will take the house. But again, no one goes into it with those things, but I have seen it all, believe me. I'm the one, hey, I put $25,000 down when we first bought the house. I want that back. Hey, you were home with the kids while I worked. I'm the one that paid the mortgage. And there's a lot of things to think about.
Yeah. There's a lot to think about.
And that's why we're there. We're sort of like the mediator in between all of it. Like, don't worry.
Yeah.
We got your back on this. This is normal.
Oh, yeah.
This is normal. Everyone's as crazy as you that's going through this process. It's emotional.
Yeah. You really haven't had any, positive divorce
Yeah, I have.
clients? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I have. It's the ones who have realized that they were going to, that's where they were going to ultimately end up. So it was like an agreement between the two of them that this wasn't going to work. It wasn't a surprise.
Yeah.
I now have a girlfriend. I now have a boyfriend.
Surprise.
See you later.
Not
Right.
not-
I just don't like you. I
I'm
woke
not in
up
love
this
with you,
morning.
yeah.
I just don't like the way you look.
I'm not attracted to you anymore. I've heard that one before. And I was like, oi, how do you get that?
I feel like we're on Real Housewives. I kind of like it. Because if you watch Potomac, right now, one of them is, she just met with a lawyer, and she wants to have a, what is she having? An agreement? Oh, I'm losing my train of thought.
It's
What do you
she wants a divorce, but
No,
not...
they're getting married, and they're going to sign
a prenup.
prenup. Yep. So she wants to have a prenup. Interesting, she was already married to him once,
Oh.
and then they got divorced because he cheated on her, but now they're getting remarried.
Oh.
And she makes a lot more money than him now. So now she's like,
now I want
I
the
want a
prenup.
prenup.
yeah, but they talked all about the house and the assets and all that stuff.
Yeah, I bet you Tom and Gisela, they had it all
We
straightened out. Was
talked-
that the
was the
quickest
first
divorce?
thing, the first one I brought up.
Yeah, quickest divorce I've
We
ever
think
even
alike.
heard of.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
they it just like we did it, we're done.
Yeah, and they're both dating again.
Oh, yeah. I think so.
Yeah, we should
good.
call this.
It's
Yeah.
TB12. All right, the third one, do we have anyone who wants to
I know
guess
we want to
number
give
3?
away a $25 gift card. So if
All
people can guess the next D. Now we're on the third one. We haven't had anybody guess, but again, 781-837-4900.
Wait,
is the
before we go
studio.
any
What?
further, I
Okay.
have to give a shout out to my super adorable client, Mary.
Oh,
who I
hi,
told her to
Mary.
listen tonight. She closed on her home that she's lived in for, I think, 50 years.
Oh,
Close to 50 years.
When did that
Maybe
close?
today.
Oh, nice.
And now
Congratulations.
she's going on to her cute little
Oh, yeah, she was really happy about
55. Yep.
That's
So hi,
amazing.
Mary.
Hi, Mary.
I can't wait to see you tomorrow.
That's awesome. I know that she's been waiting a while for
She's
this
been
to happen,
waiting
and
a long time.
that was great that she was able to find sort of her next chapter.
No, we manifested it.
Yeah, you definitely did.
I'm a big manifester.
Yeah, and you were in the office, I think, when you got the offer accepted.
Yep.
So
Excited.
That's
It's
awesome.
interesting that we're
Congratulations,
talking
Mary.
about this manifesting, and Kristen, you do such a good job with this, like with that one woman that you've helped buy and sell a couple of homes.
Joanne. Yep.
It's just these relationships that we have. And I was talking to a couple of the agents today in the office, and it goes back to the days where everyone has heard me say, I'm not motivated by money, I'm motivated by helping people. And I remember I used to take my listings and I would put them on the back of my door in my office. And I would say, this isn't a house I have to sell. This is a family I need to help. And that's what sort of motivated me every day. And you're very similar to that mindset where it's really never about the house. It's always, you're thinking about this woman who's lived in her house for over 50 years. And you were able to do that off market, right?
Yeah.
Off market, sold it, and you really held on.
Yeah.
I have somebody who texted me one of the D's. Does that
it
count?
Liz?
It is Liz.
All right, yeah, we'll give it to Liz. What is
It's
it?
not the next one that we were, but it is on the list.
Okay, what is it?
Disability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Sharon, you talk about disability because we were sort of toying with other words that go with
Yeah,
it.
because you said disease.
I was like,
I
I thought that's what.
Did you guys make up these 5 Ds?
No,
No, they're sort of commonly known.
Oh. I was
we didn't make up the words; they exist. But
Yeah, so with disease, I don't think disease, like,
I
there's
don't know.
nothing. I mean, what are you going to get? I think you said, like, gang, what was you say?
like, what would be a disease that would make you have to leave? And the first thing that came to mind was gangrene. I don't really know. I don't really know.
And,
Thinking of like a
it's like you're a leper, and they're
yeah.
kicking you out of the village.
yeah.
You got to sell your house. You're in the village, and you're a leper. Yeah. So we went with disability. So disability it's another big decision making process where people have to say, am I going to be able to live in this home in the condition that I'm in? And am I going to be able to make this house work, or am I going to have to find another house?
Bless you.
Basically, is what it comes down to,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So that's that one.
Maybe it's a mobility thing and you can't have, stairs
Steps,
or,
yep.
yeah.
And too, as aging in place, I mean, even though it's not a disability, it is something where you are getting older and you don't want to go up and down the stairs and you want one level living. But I know, there are a lot of people who have, accidents and they end up in wheelchairs and things like that. So now they can't fit between, between
Yeah.
the doors and, they can't. That's one of my favorite shows that I like to watch is when they do like the house over for like the soldiers.
Oh,
And
yeah.
everything, it's like the stoves are really low and all the everything that they do.
Yeah. Well, I was just, when you said like no longer wanted to go up and down the stairs, I was thinking like it's also preventative. So like a preventative thinking forward, I might have a disability, like I might not be able to physically get up and down the stairs. So I know, Sharon, you have sort of talked people out of selling their homes
lot.
because financially it just wasn't the right thing for them to do in the moment, but also given them ideas on how to make that first floor more livable, like a livable space for them to be in all, not all day, but hopefully they get outside.
Because
But
let's face it, I feel like one of the biggest wish list items is first floor master. Mm-hmm. Even if you're not using it now, the
Yeah.
potential for a first floor master.
Yeah. I say it now about my own house. I wish we had
I was
a
just
first
gonna
floor
say,
master.
I was just gonna say, we've had conversations on
Mary,
what?
Mary said thanks for the shout out.
Oh,
And guess what?
What?
Can we give out 2 $25 cards?
Yeah.
Because she got one too.
Oh, good. Good.
She's so smart.
She's so smart. We've talked about your home and like what room is it? The other room, is it the living room or whatever? The dining room. What room could you make on your first floor? A bedroom, and then do you convert your laundry room into a bathroom, or what is it that you do in your home that if one of your parents needs to move in?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, that's such a good point, Melissa, too. It's like when we're thinking about disability, we're not just thinking about ourselves living in our own primary residence. We're also thinking about our loved ones
Yeah.
that potentially we have to take into our home
Yeah.
because they can't live on their own anymore. So that is something, it came up with Mark's father at one point that we weren't sure where he was going to end up. I mean, luckily in our family, one of the brothers actually has an in-law. So he was able to go there. But in my house isn't really set up right now. It's not conducive to my father going up and down different levels. There's no full bath on the first floor. So something to think about.
Yeah.
And two, little things that go into, when you're having disabilities. And I bumped into this young lady last week. I was getting my nails done before the holidays. And I don't know, there's just something about her that we were sitting next to each other, but I generally don't talk to people. Like, I'm usually on my phone and doing emails and stuff. That's the worst process in the world, is getting your nails done.
I know. I've been listening to my my ear pods. Like, I've been listening to music because I don't like the music that they play in my nail salon. But also, I try to make it a relaxing thing for me. So I'm like, okay, this is my moment. This is my hour.
I cannot relax when I'm in there. I'm like, can you go any faster than that? But anyways, there was a young woman sitting next to me, and we started having a conversation. And she's young, and she's maybe in her 30s, has a couple of young kids, and she has MS. She just got diagnosed with MS. So, long term, she must be thinking, am I going to be able to do the stairs in my house?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So these are things that you do have to consider. And honestly, I think that's why you call a real estate agent, is we want to give you the best advice, and it isn't always selling your house. And maybe we've been in so many new construction homes, different layouts of homes, that you could easily, I mean, you have an eye for this, Kristen.
Yeah.
Like, you could move this room over here, and this is how it would work for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where I am. I know you love your staging thing. Kristen wants me to buy this garage so she can put staging stuff in it.
I just cleaned out the kids' linen closet this morning, and I put all my little pillow covers away for my staging business.
Oh,
Shams?
My staging biz.
Your shams?
Like covers. Yeah, there's cute gray ones, and just a lot of cute little simple.
Okay.
Yeah.
nice.
All right.
We're gonna do it.
I'll get a garage for your shams.
Yeah.
For your pillow shams.
And my tables and my couches and my chairs.
All
All right, so Mary
what,
guessed.
yeah.
the
What?
next
Which one did Mary guess?
Downsizing.
Well, we don't call it downsizing.
I know we had a tough time remembering this one today.
Yeah.
So I was
We're
like,
like,
what
what's
is
the
the
last
last one? I can't think of it, because we don't call it downsizing. We call it right sizing. It's not a downer. I think downsizing sounds like a downer. We call it right sizing. It's the right size for you right now.
Yeah.
So talk about
So that's
that.
a reason. That's a reason to sell.
Sure is.
The home that you're currently living
Yeah.
in, it just does not suit your needs anymore.
And I feel like as I talked about, a lot of my friends are having issues with their parents. This is where we are. We're going to be empty nesters.
Yeah.
Owen's a junior, but he's going to be going to college.
Yeah, but Sharon,
We're already planning it.
Both of Sharon's daughters don't live at home, but they certainly come home very
we'll still
often.
give them a
so
home to come home to.
They need a space. And now, considering, she has to think about her parents now. So it's like sort of twofold. You've always said you have no reason to leave your home right now. You love your home, and you've been there since, what,
I have a small house,
1992?
though. Kristen has a big house.
I have a big house.
I have a small house.
I'm manifesting
Are you
it.
moving?
We just got a dumpster. We're starting to clear out a lot of stuff. I think probably in the next 3 to 4 years.
Where would you go?
I thought the Cape for the longest time, because I definitely want to be near the water. But now I'm thinking close to Ellen and John in Marshfield. I like where they are.
Yeah.
I don't want to be on the beach. I want to be in a house walkable to the beach. And it's like a 6-minute walk to the beach.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do have a really great location.
Perfect location.
Yeah, so in 3 to 4 years, catch Kristen on the show promoting her house.
Promoting my house. And I think I'll put a little shed in the back, a she shed for my mom if she needs it.
Well, and I think that's good, too, because where you want to go, the kids will always want to come to.
Yes, that's my whole point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So true.
You can always get them bunk beds or triple beds.
Yeah. I mean, even when her kids get older and have kids and things like that, think about Trish and Nick Flynn, who are full-time agents here at Boston Connect Real Estate. Her mom, they always had a summer place down there, and then they did a big build down there. So they love
And my
going
friend
down
Mindy
there.
was just saying this. Literally, we were talking about it on the night before Thanksgiving, that her mom lives in she lives in Jersey on LBI, Long Beach Island, maybe. and her mom planned her entire house around her kids and their families. So like the ODs have their own little, their own little section. And she goes and they used to spend pretty much the entire summer there.
Yeah, I just helped my brother-in-law buy a place down in Katamet, and I love the layout of it because it has like this little master suite with a little living room, and it's like separate from the rest of the house. So when the kids are there and the grandkids are there, he's already getting so much use out of this house.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, downsizing is a good one. I like that. I feel like we pepped it up because we were talking about a lot of little heavy topics.
Heavy
Yeah.
topic. I know. We only have 5 minutes left. We still have, what, one more?
One
Is it
more.
one more? Okay. Sharon?
I don't know what it is. I wasn't here for the first 3.
It's debt.
Oh yeah, this is a big one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so debt you know what I mean? When people get into debt and then default, it's debt and default. A lot of times people will default. They're in jeopardy of defaulting on their mortgage and things like that. So will we see more foreclosures? I don't know. I don't think we'll see any more than we normally do. But who knows with inflation going up and things like that, if anybody loses their jobs. But I mean, employment is still good. I don't know with debt, but people do get themselves into a predicament where they are spending more than they have to. People are spending money that they don't have on things they don't need to impress people they don't even know. So stop it, people.
Stop it.
Yeah. Getting the credit card debt and 18% on your credit cards and people. And again, there's those people, but then there are also the people who are like, I had a medical issue. I had to use my credit card. Like, I lost my job. I wasn't expecting it. I had to lose my credit card. You know what I mean? So life happens. And those are the things. Get out before it wrecks. You know what I mean? Maybe you should be selling sooner than later so you can.
I feel like everyone needs me in their life because somebody recently said to me, I almost opened up one of those TJX cards, but they almost convinced me. And I'm like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm like, no. It's like 29%. I'm like, no, it's not worth the rewards.
Well, you
Open
get
up
a
Target
$10.
card.
You get a $10 card. You get like a $10 gift card for every 100 and something that you spend. They try to tell me to do it all the time too, but I'm like,
Well, I used to work there.
Oh, really?
In high school.
Do they get points? I think that the people at the counter, like,
I never got anything.
I think they have like prizes.
So I apologize for everybody that I did convince to get one when I was
You were
in high
just
school.
doing your job.
I was just doing my job. But don't listen to somebody in high school that doesn't know anything about finances.
Yeah, I know, exactly. I like to get my points on I like my American Express.
Yeah.
I put it on there. I pay it off at the end of the month.
Yeah.
I get my points. I was looking at a hotel to stay at, for, I don't know, maybe New Year's. I wanted to go up to Mount Washington Hotel. I was like, wow, I am so cheap. I'm not paying that much to stay in a hotel because I never pay for hotels. I have my points.
Believe how expensive. It's crazy.
It's crazy. It is.
It is. We
Anyways.
only have like 2 minutes left. So any other things you want to say about debt?
No, I think with debt, it's unfortunate when people get themselves into those predicaments. But you know what? We know a lot of people who can give you some counsel on the best things to pay off first to get your credit score back in order. And if you're over your head because of your house and all of that, then you should consider selling it before you do. Once you get behind it, sometimes it's just too hard to get caught up. Don't listen to these credit bureaus or whatever they are that say, hey, we can help you consolidate your loans and everything. A lot of that is a scam. So I wouldn't do that. I do want to let our listeners know that we will not be live on Saturday. Hull High School has made it to the Super Bowl. And
Wow.
Yes.
News to me.
Yes. So we are not doing the show on Saturday. They asked if they could have our time spot. So Hull High School, boys, they are going to be at Gillette Stadium.
Oh, how exciting.
Yes, playing in the Super Bowl. That's where Mark McNamara is from.
Go
so
Hull.
go Hull. And we will be back next Tuesday. So have a great week,
fun.
everybody.
Have a good week.
Go Pirates. Yay.
Fight